The small gulper didn't make it after, what, half a year or longer struggle with it. Still under 3 inches. I've been wanting to separate him out from the rest of the gulpers, which are much bigger, and then he would eat a little better, and I kept postponing it, and then he would eat worse, and then this cycle continued on and on. So eventually it looks like he just gave up. He's tiny. He barely, in half a year, he barely grew any, maybe half an inch or so. His skin is much bigger. And the biggest guy is probably 100 times bigger than him by weight. I'm gonna film him tomorrow in the daylight so you can see him better. But we're down to 5. At least they're all eating okay. There's one smallest one in there, clearly the smallest, but he's still 20 times bigger than the one we just lost. The 5 remaining gulpers are doing well. There is one of them that's clearly the smallest, you can see, and the other 4 are comparable, but the smallest of them is still 20 or 20 times bigger than the one that we lost, which I preserved. Well, he just kind of dried up by himself. You can check out the mouth size on this guy. Anyhow, surprisingly, these guys have been very well without any hides. I gave them a transparent pipe, which they chose not to use. They want to use an opaque pipe that they use, but not all the time either. They come out a lot and spend a lot of time outside of the pipe. But I wanted to be able to see him all the time, especially the little guy that I was concerned with. So I had been deciding not to give him any furniture where they could hide out of sight. But now that the little guy is gone, and I may consider again giving them furniture, but not sure yet. Once in a while I see something on them that looks like a parasite. I haven't treated for it yet. I'm still continuing with the dimilin treatment for the 3rd month in a row. So I want to be able to see the parasite symptoms if they come out again. Sometimes I see them there's like just outside of the gill, other times on their body, just whiteness here and there. Like the big guy has a little white spot on the upper lobe of his tail, and I don't know what it is. It should not be there. That's the biggest and the smallest side by side, by the way. Check him out from a different angle. Where is he at? Yeah, on the very tip of his tail over there. It doesn't look suspicious, but I don't know what it is, and I want to keep an eye on it. That's why I don't want them to be hiding, and they seem to be okay without hiding. They eat extremely well, except maybe for the smallest guys. The 3 bigger ones eat very well. Well, the 4 bigger ones, I should say, eat very well. The smallest guy is a little less, but still feeding okay. I feed them at night, every other day. They eat with good gusto, and I have no problem with them. The smallest guy was mouthed a lot by the bigger guy, so that didn't help. They never ate him, never tried to eat him, but they sometimes would take him in his mouth because he's so small. They would take him in his mouth and just spit him out. No damage have I seen on him from these. Taste tests, but I'm sure it wasn't helping. He was a little afraid of the bigger guys and was hovering usually up there, a little bit away from everybody, but sometimes they hung out all together. So I still don't know what was wrong with that small guy and why I lost him and why I had so much trouble with him. Probably what, for 4 months, 5, maybe 6 months, I was struggling to get him to eat well and put on weight. He just wouldn't. He ate sporadically and never grew. Maybe a half an inch or an inch in all this time, which is nothing. They came tiny, like at 2 inches. Maybe even 1.5 inches, I don't remember. I've never started with such small gulpers either. I've always started with 4 inches to 6 inches. So that was a new learning for me. Plus the fact that they're okay without the hide. Even right now, see, I turn on the light. At first I got alarmed, but it subsided in seconds. So now they're swimming around happily. Yeah, that guy just scratched himself. They're swimming around happily and not worrying about it, being out in the open. The light is dim, of course. I mean, it's nothing bright at all. And I've turned on the light only for the filming. Usually it's much dimmer. Usually it's just like that, which makes them even more comfortable. Not that they weren't comfortable before that. Alright, so that's our gulper report. 5 for 13. 5 survivors. We bought 13 gulpers at the top, 10 from predatory fins and 3 from Leslie Wong. And these 5 from predatory fins are the only survivors so far. Just as a reminder, the predatory fins 10-pack came with a lot of problems for me. Again, I never blamed predatory fins. I never asked for anything from them because I thought it was an honest mistake. I try to give a benefit of the doubt, but they came with fish lice stuffed in their gills and some other problems, probably some other parasites. So I had to treat them with Dimilin, which I still am for a long time. And I had to treat them with the guy's trying to swallow the little snail, and with broad spectrum disease treatment based on formalin and malachite green, which gulpers take really hard. So never exceed 1/4 or 1/3 of a dose, or a recommended dose on the label when you're treating gulpers with broad spectrum disease treatment or any formalin based treatment.